It's showtime.
Okay guys, welcome back to the STPL. My name is Kix and joining me is Rapid, and we just saw a really cool set 2 and set 3 from Red vs Psi, which did leave us with Red 3-0 up. They're heading their way to a clean sweep in this best of 5, but there's going to be one man who's going to stand up against them.
Indeed, well, I guess there is one man to stand up against him, but the bigger idea is the players on both sides, and there may be a little bit of a mismatch here. I'm not going to spoil anything, Kix. I will let you go ahead and introduce the players for our final game of the night.
Well, of this series. But if you need to go after this, it's fine. This series is probably the longest one we've had, but either way, let's introduce our players. We'll move on to the overlay, and let's see what's going on. So let's actually bring this up, and let's have a look. Okay, so this time it's going to be Cryoc, the Terran player. He is, of course, 4 for 0 in this round of the STPL. He's in the top 10 of all the players throughout round 1 and round 2 added together. He did go 2-2 last round, so that puts him at 6 for 2 overall. He's not played a TBT yet, but he's certainly going to be a strong opponent to look out for as we look at PSiStorm's PSiStorm.eu's MuKja. Now MuKja is 1 for 0 in this round. He did win his first game a couple of weeks ago, but he's going to be up against a strong opponent here.
Yeah, no, Cryoc is absolutely insane. For Red, he's one of their best players. I actually think he has the best record on the team. No, I think it's second best next to...
next to Ku.
Yeah, next to Ku. I think Ku actually has the best record, but it's just super sick. So always a player that you can rely on. I'm glad that they kind of put him in this 4th slot, because if your team gets a 3-0, then obviously he gets kind of the night off. But if your team doesn't 3-0, then you might need to come back or really hammer home the 4th win. Cryoc can absolutely do that. So he's been very, very good for the team.
Yeah, and they're going to be moving on to Triathlon. Now, we haven't had a TBT here yet. We have had a good number of games on this map, though, in round 2. Obviously, a 3-player map, 12, 7, or 12, 8, and 4 o'clock spawns. I'll say maybe 7, doesn't really matter too much. But really cool, interesting map architecture, and could be a really cool map here for TBT. So let's head on into the game, and let's see who is going to win out this final game of the series. And starting here in the 12 o'clock position is going to be Red's Cryoc in the blue. He's going to be looking to bring it home as another 4-0 for his team and extend their lead indefinitely here in the second round of the STPL. They've done an incredible job so far, and he is making to look this like another clean sweep for Red.
He is indeed making to look this that way, Kix. Couldn't have said it better myself. For his opponent, is spawning in the, I guess, what do you want to call that, 8 o'clock location. It's the PSiStorm.eu's MuKja, and he's definitely having, a lot of work ahead of him. He's up against a very strong opponent. But I think the bigger obstacle in both of these players' paths to greatness is trying to play games that look as epic as that previous game we saw. Today has been a very good night of STPL, and I'm glad it's not even going to be over after this game, because of course we have a second series coming up as well.
Yep, and Creative pointed out something that I'd missed, but basically his name was a little bit hard to read on the previous screen, so I'll make sure I fix that. I did actually fix that on all my other screens, so just missed that one. But I spent a lot of time this weekend. I spent about 6 hours, maybe 6 or 7 hours, just coding all weekend. And I fixed most of the bugs in my overlay, so I'm really happy with that. I also did a lot of data collection. Shoutouts to FujiCoder for helping me with the map stats. And you know what? I'm feeling pretty good as we move here into the end of round 2, heading into round 3.
Yeah, a lot of rounds. This is like the world's longest team league, Kix. I don't know wow, that's just a big commitment. But you're sticking to it, and I'm glad I could come out and help you out. And glad that the players are really putting up some super sick games. So really, everybody doing their best to help out STPL. This is a great opportunity for me to segue into mentioning that you all can help out STPL by clicking the Match Arena link that gets typed in chat by the bot and donating $1 to the STPL prize pool for free by using the code, I think it's STPL2.
Yep, I think we may have run out of codes, so I'm going to speak to Maturino after the cast today and see if I can get some more. Very generous people there at Maturino. Of course, one of the sponsors, or the only sponsor I would say, of the SCPL. They've done a lot to help out. They, of course, are the platform that I'm using for the prize pool. And the prize pool, the last I checked, was at $1,120 or something. And that's going to be distributed at the end of the grand finals, probably at the beginning of next year, I would say, at this point. It's kind of crazy how long this has been going on, and how much longer there is to go, but I've had a lot of fun so far.
Yeah, it's been super sick. But let's actually talk about the game that we have underway. This is going to be a TVT. So we could actually be here for a while. I would say that, Cryoc, I've watched him play several TVTs, and it does seem very solid in the matchup. I don't know what to expect from MuKja because I have not watched him play before. So it is a very stock standard opener on both sides. I don't think we're really expecting too many crazy things, but pretty identical. With the exception that it's 2 factory for MuKja.
Yeah, he's also going to be a little bit further behind in the supply, of course. He does skip some Marines, skips some SCVs as well, but he's going to have to make sure that he stops this being scouted. This is going to be a very important scout for Cryoc to try and get, and he's not going to get it.
No, he will not. So, of course, there's a lot that this can give away. What is the mind game, right? Is he blocking the ramp because he's doing something secret behind this? Is he blocking the ramp to try to fake the, the double, as it is so called? But especially if he pulls that SCV back. Oh, but no, he loses it, so he won't see the barracks floating, which, of course, would be great information to give him. Wow, this is actually really sick. I'm glad that we get a chance to see potentially MuKja surprising Cryoc here.
Yeah, now one thing that obviously people have been fans of Brood War for a while, people watch the old Pro League a lot, you'll see a lot of teams sending out players that are very good at one matchup, do have very specific weird builds tailored to certain maps, and I know a lot of people said at the start of the SCPL that wasn't going to happen, but it certainly has been, even if it's behind the scenes and maybe not played out the way people wanted it to. We could see some really cool here. Now, the interesting thing about this map, of course, as well, is there are the in-base naturals that you can take. So Cryoc, without seeing anything, isn't really going to know if MuKja was going for that base or not. It's not going to be until his barracks gets over there to scout that he's going to find out if there's anything crazy going on.
Yeah, and I mean, if that's how you're scouting, then it's going to be a little bit late. So Cryoc is actually moving out across the map with 1 tank and 2 Marines. And oh, by the way, Kix, there's just a whole lot more than that on the other side, as it looks like expansion coming down here from MuKja, or maybe in the near future. Actually, no, I don't know why that STV was there. I see it and I automatically think expansion, but I'm like, wait a second, he's 2-facting. So realistically, that is not going to be how it works. The Vultures just run by everything that Cryoc has out on the map, and they're going straight into the natural. An immediate SCV pull there.
Mines are finished. These Marines are going to get stuck outside of the base. Now, MuKja could make something happen here. He's going to be able to get 4 Vultures with speed up close to the ramp, going to be able to lay some mines. I'm going to try and kill some of these. Oh, the mines being pulled by the Marine. But here we go, we've got mines going down on the bottom of the ramp. Going to pull the Vultures away to fight another day. And this is just overall pretty good for MuKja so far. He's moved into tanks himself. He did get those to defend, I think. But if he can get enough Vultures, it's going to be a while before Cryoc can actually move down his ramp. He's going to get a scanner, but they're going to be quite late. And if more Vultures come in, it's going to be very annoying.
Yet now, crucially enough, none of the mines or the Vultures got to the high ground. That would have been absolutely hard to deal with. But, it's still going to be difficult. There's a lot of crazy mines, 1 mine drag. I don't know how, but it would be just very, very difficult to come back from that. As is, sending Vultures in to kill tanks is never really the trade you want to kind of make happen there.
Doesn't get that mine, but that could have been a good one.
Yeah, it absolutely could have. Vulture, or the barracks is actually going to burn and go down there thanks to the Goliaths that were produced in the main, so that will have to be rebuilt. There's an armory on the way. So this is going to be a little advantage here for MuKja, but not actually the biggest.
Yeah, now MuKja are obviously going to be behind now. He didn't get that much damage done. He obviously did kill a few units, but he lost a lot of his vultures. One good thing is he has...
I think I said it was an advantage for MuKja, didn't I? Definitely met Cryoc there.
Yeah.
Like, well, one player's mining from his natural, the other's not. Okay, yeah, so sorry about that. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Kicks. It is MuKja with the disadvantage.
Oh, here we go. Oh, nice usage of those Goliaths to clear up the mines.
This is so scary. Oh, the target firing so good by Cryoc.
Yeah, now the interesting thing is we do have MuKja with more tanks. Well, I think he actually has even tanks. Goliath's obviously very good against vultures, but we do have that siege mode finished up for MuKja now. Of course, the vision advantage going to go to Cryoc, so he's going to be able to siege up here. But we see MuKja pulling back his tank immediately.
This is going to be an optimistic attempt by MuKja to try to take this third base. I mean, I guess you got to go for the slingshot to try to get yourself back into the game, but how is he going to hold on to this with just an inferior army? His siege tank line is actually way too far northward, and Cryoc is really just pressuring this base. The Marines, oh no, they run up and die instantly. And so while, yeah, maybe a tank did get picked off there by MuKja, he needs to reposition those northern tanks, and here he goes. He's going to go for it right now, but there's a barracks spotting here by Cryoc. Siege tank siege up, but actually it is a weaker tank by Cryoc, so it does get picked off, and that gives the siege tank advantage to MuKja.
Oh, but the CC is cancelled, so he knows he can't hold on to that. Now, as you said, that was a very optimistic command center. We do have another, well, we actually have a starport being added up here. He's going to build another command center in the main and flow it up. Now, it's weird he's not taking that base. We do see Cryoc taking his third at this in-base natural, a little bit more standard on this map, but of course, if MuKja doesn't have sort of, trying to think of the right word, but experience on the map, these are cloaked eggs underneath this arbiter, so you can't just run units up there. And it does make it a little bit harder to take if your opponent goes for a dropship early. You can't really defend very easily until you kill the eggs.
Back base for Cryoc, yeah, is going to be super easy to defend, but I honestly don't even think he's going to have to defend that anytime soon, unless you see something crazy like MuKja try to cut his way back through behind. No, realistically not going to happen. But I mean, he is hanging on here. He hasn't been able to secure a third, but his natural's up and running, so at least that's pretty good. It's kind of weird to me to see Cryoc able to hold this position, hold this line with so few units.
Yeah, it's going to be 4 tanks in the siege line, but that's going to be perfect. They're in a good location. Going to be hard for MuKja to really push out. Now, this is going to be where he really has to take down those eggs. He needs to kill that arbiter and take that base in the top left. It's the only real place he can expand to, unless he starts going downwards. I bet he's going to find himself contained here. We're going to have an engineer bay coming up here as well to build some turrets, and just make it very annoying for MuKja to try and get out of his base.
Yeah, this is basically like your lurker contain if their spines had insane range. And of course that's a terrible analogy, but you get the idea. It's not a good spot to be in for MuKja, and there is an engineering bay being built at the tank line for Cryoc, and of course many turrets to follow.
Yeah, and the other thing is, Cryoc obviously has a big advantage. He's going for a lot of units now. He's up to 5 factories against just 2 from MuKja. And he's taking down those eggs in the top middle, so he's going to completely cut his opponent off. And this is where you start to have problems. If you get completely contained like MuKja is about to, it makes it very, very difficult to do anything. Now, he did manage to get an SCV through there. He is going to try and take this base, but the trouble is he's going to have tanks and turrets heading up there very shortly. Over here we go. It looks like we're going to have a drop from MuKja into this third base. There's going to be no way of Cryoc getting back to defend this. He's going to have to use his SCVs. Now, SCVs are pretty saggy units, and he's sieging up for some reason. That's a big, big mistake.
Wait, why would you see what? I think he thought he was going to splash the SCVs, but instead he's going to lose both of his tanks basically for free. That is, wow, that's, I mean, I guess you guys can look at that and learn from MuKja's decision there and how well it didn't work.
Yeah, and the trouble is he's not going to be able to land this command center. That command center has flown for a very, very long time. Oh, he's going to lose his tank to a mine. It's going to be so close. Does manage to save it.
Wow, that's actually a good micro. So he kills off the mine, doesn't lose the tank. He's secured. He actually broke through the Arbiter and the eggs faster than MuKja could to his own base. So that will not be coming up anytime soon, Kicks. And realistically, neither will a third base for MuKja.
Yeah, I mean, MuKja's going to try and expand now. He can't kill the mine. I think he's actually run out of scans. He's not got a scanner. He's not got a scanner at all, so he can't expand. There we go. He finally has cleared that out. I think he tried to yeah, he actually took the tank here with the mine. Took the mine here with the tank to do that.
Yep, but he does reclaim it, and that's really the only thing that matters here. He has gotten a third base, so his lease on life continues. But you know, Cryoc is actually pretty content with this. I think he should look to maybe expand again, but realistically, both players are just going to be teching up a lot. The bigger difference is that MuKja is going to try to use these newfound resources to fuel a tech switch, and that is going to be cloaked wraiths on the way.
Yeah, now this is going to be a strong tech switch, but we do have those turrets from Cryoc already. Unlike a map like Circuit Breaker, which is obviously a lot more common these days, this map does have a lot of buildable terrain in the middle. There's going to be buildable terrain all around the map, and there's just going to be turrets everywhere. You can see Cryoc doing a really good job at the 6 o'clock base, not only killing a turret or building a turret, but also he took out the minerals on both sides of the eggs, so MuKja's not going to be able to get units through, and he's actually shown his wraiths off.
Yeah, I don't know what was behind that decision, but the idea is that you want to keep them secret, bust out with a bunch of them, kill a bunch of stuff, run away from Goliath specifically, but with Charon boosters already done, and Goliath with the army at that contain with turrets, I mean, these Wraiths are really going to have a hard time getting a lot of damage done.
They are indeed. Now we're going to have MuKja sieging up this third base. He's going to try and take down those turrets, and this is going to be a strong position for him to hold. But the trouble is he doesn't actually have that many units. If Cryoc scans, I think he could actually just A-move through this. There's not really that much in play. They both... Oh, actually, we have an upgrade advantage for MuKja here. He has got one attack a lot sooner. And I mean, this could come into play if Cryoc tries to move in, but here we go. It looks like he's going to try and move in to deal with this.
Is he though? I think he's just going to try to do that a little bit more slowly. He recognizes that his upgrade is slower at this point, and it does finish just now, so it's not the biggest disadvantage.
You know, interestingly, the tanks, even though they look like they should be in range, are not in range there on the top, so that's going to help MuKja just a little bit. Now, Cryoc, those turrets on the bottom of the map are going to help him a lot. They're going to take down this dropship if he's not careful. He's not actually got anything in them, so a little bit of a fake out there, but here we go.
Okay, I mean...
He's going to take them down now. I mean, he's flown over this base. Why hasn't he taken it? Here we go, the command center coming up now for that extra base. He's going to go up to 4 base, and weirdly, we're going to have a situation here. I know MuKja is incredibly far behind, but it's going to be like the last game where one of the players is going to sit back on like 1 base, and then he's going to build a lot of dropships, build a lot of tanks and Goliaths, and push out. But I think Cryoc just has a little bit too much. Unlike a TVP, this is a mirror matchup. Both of them have exactly the same tools, and Cryoc seems to be using them just a little bit better.
Yeah, Cryoc recognizing, hey, I need to make sure that I control my opponent's income. He's not getting too greedy trying to take out like the 3rd base or drop the main or anything, but he is making sure that there's no 4th base coming up easily.
You know, we're going to have dropships coming in for Cryoc now as well. Now, the one thing I will say, I've obviously watched a lot of pro TVTs, it's one of my favourite matchups, but if you're watching Flash play this, you wonder how many bases Flash would be on right now? He would have every other base on the map, like...
Many, yeah.
Flash will build a tank line of like 2 tanks in the middle of the map and take the other side of the map in one go, like...
It's like, yeah, no, they're protected.
Yeah, Cryoc needs to be a little bit more aggressive with his expanding. Like, I mean, he's actually going to be a base behind on his opponent in just a second. So, eventually MuKja is going to be able to get enough units to... I mean, realistically, Cryoc can't break him right now. Obviously, MuKja has not that much out the front, but his bases are well protected. He has these tanks over in the top left, threatening that third base. And MuKja is, like, he's not in a great position. His upgrades are going to be a little bit faster once again. And if he turtles enough, we may see a comeback. But he's going to be turtling for a while, and this is purely for the same reason Marine lost. Cryoc hasn't been expanding. I'm really unsure why.
Kix, I appreciate your sense of optimism. That always gives me this warm feeling deep down inside my heart that maybe truly anything is possible. I don't know about this game, but it is certainly going the distance. And I mean, if you just count the number of bases, they seem to be even. So, I mean, there's only so many bad things about that.
Yep. I mean, we've got Cryoc with a huge amount of army. He has a lot of dropships now. He's gonna look to push the main from this like weird 7 o'clock position. And this is when it's gonna start to be a problem for MuKja. He's actually sending all his dropships to that 12 o'clock base. And we could have a little bit of a base trade here, but Cryoc's unit's very, very idle. I mean, that's one thing MuKja's done a very good job of. He's been very active with his dropships.
Yeah, realistically, both players have, but if you just kind of look at the way the structure of the map is working right now, you can see a big old blue line right across, not the middle, but closer to the left-hand side, and the longer that line persists, the bigger Cryoc's advantage theoretically should be. And the reason that advantage, is so big is because he should be taking all these bases, but he's actually just now going up to a fifth, so... like you said, yeah, Flash would have had a huge advantage from having taken 1,000,000 bases, but I mean, sometimes you can overdo that, and Cryoc's slow and steady.
Okay, now it looks like we're going to have MuKja still unsure of really where he can push down Cryoc, getting a great scan off on the dropships. Knows exactly where his opponent's dropships are going to be. And Cryoc with his own dropships now just moving back and forth between this big line of turrets. Now Cryoc did actually lose his engineering bay, so that's going to be no more turrets for the time being. And he is going to take this. He's going to take this 2 o'clock base now.
Okay, Kix, we're here. 200 supply for both players. Siege tank lines, hard contains, turrets. How long do we go?
All the Goliaths.
Trying to bust out. He's got the cloaked raids, bringing him back in, and he does. He successfully breaks through the bottom.
This could be dangerous. Cryoc needs to be careful. He can't send these dropships in unattended. Where are the wraiths? The wraiths have flown away, I think. Oh no, they're idle, but here we go.
Oh my god, he actually is killing off so many of these dropships. Wow, this is such a huge move. Every dropship here should theoretically die.
Yeah.
Oh my god, MuKja just bopped Cryoc. 50 supply lost in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, MuKja for the first time in the game has the supply advantage, and Cryoc's lost his mobility now. There's nothing Cryoc can do to get into this base.
No, that's crazy. Now he's going to lose his, I mean, not his entire siege line, because obviously there's a bunch of missile turrets. There's like I don't know if he thinks he's playing single player or whatever, but he's just building a line of missile turrets up the entire length of the map to hard contain his opponent. But, I mean, losing your entire dropship fleet, all your units, sure, he's got a huge bank, but this is mech, it takes a long time to pump out of all those factories. And
losing the dropships isn't going to be the biggest problem for Cryoc. He's just researched Yamato. It's going to be battle cruisers.
Out on battle cruisers. Now, this is where we think to ourselves, in Lord Cryoc's immaculate plan, was truly the purpose of those dropships to die? Truly, what is any of our purpose, Kix? And other philosophical questions. But in this case, their purpose was to free up supply for these battle cruisers. Yeah, many cattle will be bruised today, especially when 6 battle cruisers with ship plating and Yamato come out, or Yamato. Sorry, I'm triggering Kix's knowledge of Japanese pronunciation here.
Yeah.
At least I'm not like Artostus, and I don't say like tomato cannon or whatever it is.
I don't even know what he says. It's just the weirdest thing.
He says Yamato cannon.
Yeah, Yamato, and it's like, oh, here we go.
Like there's literally an A there, my dude. I don't know. But either way, it's sick to watch MuKja pull the plug or pull the trigger on that the cloaked wraith plan. He goes down, busts out, and might actually be looking to take a 5th base of his own right now.
Yeah, but the trouble is his gas, well, he's actually got a lot of spare gas. Like, he hasn't really been spending too much. He's been... And it's not so much been the fact he's not been spending his money. He's not been able to. He's been maxed for so long. And he is going to throw away some of these wraiths now on the Goliaths and the turrets. So he does need to be careful. He's going to need as many wraiths as humanly possible. Don't kill the Arbiter. That's the only thing keeping the units out of your base.
Okay, I mean, realistically, Cryoc could have just scanned and taken it out.
Yeah.
So kind of a foregone conclusion. But yeah, the idea is there. Cryoc now knows this is where he needs to position his entire army. And more importantly, those 6 shiny battle cruisers.
Yeah, now does MuKja know about any of this? I don't think he's scanned in a while. He does. We do have a scan coming in from Cryoc. It's going to be a while before the Yamato cannons come online. But we do, well, they're here, but they're going to be 150 energy. And I think MuKja just can't hold on here. He's going to do his best, but he hasn't been able to take the gas down here, and he's not going to be able to anytime soon, especially now.
Yeah, late game TVT almost always devolves into giant battlecruiser on battlecruiser battles. But one thing you can do, the last kind of tech switch in the game, is to stop your battlecruisers and go into a massive amount of raids. And that's what you're seeing MuKja do. He already had that technology. He was a little bit behind the infrastructure required to go for battlecruisers. So he's just going for mass Charon booster Goliaths and cloaked raids. And he's going to try to get it done with that.
Yeah, now the trouble is he is going to be behind in the air upgrade fight, and that's one of the major issues. Like, when you're behind in this air upgrade fight, the battlecruisers do a hell of a lot more damage than they could do otherwise. Obviously, you need a hell of a lot of wraiths to take down battlecruisers. Battlecruisers trade so efficiently. But if MuKja can get enough, if he can make it happen, he might be able to do something. But the trouble is, Cryoc still has these turrets everywhere. He's still got a lot of tanks all over the place. MuKja is going to find it hard to ever really do anything with these wraiths. There's just too much anti-air everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, turrets are pretty good against raids. They're actually not so great against battlecruisers because they, you can just like endlessly Yamato them down. But I don't know what these raids are really going to do. He's going to have to like have that one immaculate move, right, where you just bust out and try to take out these battlecruisers. But I mean, that's just going to get harder and harder the more turrets get built. If he goes out there and he has enough raids to one-shot battlecruisers or two-shot them, I guess, then maybe you run forward, take out the battlecruisers, run back, and lather, rinse, repeat. But there's just so many turrets now.
Yeah, there is, and the big problem as well is he doesn't have that many bases. He's going to have maximum of an extra gas. He's going to be mining out of his gas here at his 3rd. His natural nearly depleted. His main is certainly going to be depleted. No, it's not. He's got some gas there, but he needs the extra gas. He needs the extra starports to be able to really begin to try and trade with these battlecruisers.
Okay, tell me more about that, Kix. I want to know. I want to know how I was going to trade with that. So he's trying to use the raids to bust out up top. There's only a few turrets there, actually not that many. But he will try to break into Cryoc's base and maybe wreak some havoc there. The problem is missile turrets are just pretty good, Kix.
Yep, they're especially good against wraiths, and you can see that there. He doesn't have the critical mass of wraiths yet to kill turrets really, and the battlecruisers are coming in here to finish this off.
Yeah, and of course the scans and missile turrets, all of which will detect those raids. They go down, and now you're starting to see really the first nail in MuKja's coffin.
Yeah, so many wraiths just went down. That's so much gas that MuKja does not have to replenish. He hasn't been able to break out. He's not managed to find an area to get any units out. He's not actually mining at this base down the bottom left. He doesn't have any units to send over there. He's trying to send some. And obviously this is a big map, so the battlecruisers are going to take a long time, but this could be it. Are we finally going to see it? Are we going to see the Yamato? It looks like he doesn't even need it, he's just pushing forward. Yamato! As he gets one of the tanks. And here we go, the final push-in by Cryoc is just going to be too much for MuKja to handle.
Yeah, this is the end of that Street Fighter movie where the guy walks up to the wall and punches a giant hole in it. That's what Cryoc is doing right now to MuKja. He is Yamatoing a giant hole in his chest.
Yep, he is, and this is just too much. MuKja did an incredibly good job to make it this far against Cryoc,
Yeah?
but unfortunately it's not going to be enough, and Cryoc is going to take the 4-0 in the series. GG! And in a very long TBT, that's going to close out our first series. But to be honest, I think I think it might be good to do the other series on Wednesday now.
All I'm trying to say is the games were so good.
They were.
Honestly, very, very impressive. We saw some comebacks and some almost comebacks, but you really just got your whole gamut of emotions and plot lines, and it was actually a really great night of STPL regardless.
It was.
Congratulations to Red on the 4-0 win. I think maybe expected, but still it was cool to see that in action.
Yep, and just to confirm, just because it is quite late, obviously Rapid, it's very late for him, it's now 6 a.m., but it's now 10 p.m. for me. I need to make sure that I don't go too late, so I'm going to call it here for today. We'll do the other series, which we'll do in Net Wars versus Ash on Wednesday. That's probably one of the most exciting and long series we've actually had, and it didn't even go to the ace match, so that's kind of crazy, but let's bring up the overlay and just go through the final bits, and then we'll say ta-la. So let's have a look. Okay, so just to confirm, we did just see that 4-0 with Red and Psystorm. Now, of course, that is going to mean Psystorm 100% can't get into the finals. But Red, or the playoffs even for round 2. But they'll be back in round 3. They'll be back in week 7 as well. So Psystorm they're down but not out yet. They still have another chance to win another game. Obviously, it doesn't count too much other than does give them a chance to mess up one of the other teams heading for the playoffs. And it is good practice as they move forward into the next round.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations to Red, super strong. When eventually we get to the end of round 4 and have the actual culmination of STPL, it's going to be really sick. So I do hope that they do well both up until there and, of course, in the future. They're my favorite team, and obviously I'm a little bit biased there, but it's really cool to see them do so well.
Yep, now that does mean we are going to quickly bring up what our next games are going to be. Just to show that off, on Wednesday we're going to have MuKja versus White Clan, which should be a lot of fun. And we're also going to have Net Wars versus Ash. That's not shown there, but that will be on Wednesday as well. I'll update the thread on TL to make sure that says that as well. And then on Friday, we'll be back once again with DM versus Naz. Another two teams actually in contention to get their way into that final. And then Soul versus Rev. Soul in contention for their playoff spot as well. So very important games coming up for all of our teams. And just very quickly as well, just going to quickly go back over the ranking just to have a look at how that's actually affected us as we move towards day 2 of week 3. I believe that should now be up to date, so let's bring that back up. As you can see, Red top of Group A with 5-0. So as long as Red do not win their game next week against Naz, they are guaranteed the first place seed out of Group A. And obviously Psystorm falling a little bit lower, not falling as far as Bull. So they do have a chance to bring it back with another win on week 7. But just to bring it back to the cameras, well, the camera. Just want to say a huge thank you once again to Rapid for joining me, and at such a late hour as well.
Oh, it's always my pleasure. Really great to have STPL going on. I'm glad I can help support that. Thanks as always, Kix, for having me. I'm glad I could show up for yet another Red victory, and also to hang out with everybody else who watched as well. So a big thanks to everyone who watched, and of course to you, Kix, as well.
Not a problem. And anyone who tuned in, I know there was a lot of you today. Huge thank you to Vincent, of course, for the host. But hopefully you enjoyed the show. If you did, please feel free to follow the channel. I'll be back here 3 days a week with the STPL for at least the next 6 months, I would say. So if you want to see some Brood War action, you know where to come. And obviously, if you don't want to follow, do try and tune in every once in a while, and hopefully you enjoy it. The VODs will all go up on my YouTube over the next couple of days. For today, it should be tomorrow, I'd imagine. But the new WoW expansion is out tonight as well, so tomorrow,
God damn it,
I may
Kicks.
I may be a bit busy tomorrow, but you know what? We'll be back again on Wednesday at the same time, same place, 2100 CEST, 4 a.m. KST, and some American time I'm not too sure of. And we will see you guys next time. So have a good evening, morning, afternoon. Uh, I guess that's it, night as well. And we will see you guys next time. Ciao.